Interesting, in the business world, I speak to a lot of business groups. Your entrepreneurs are middle children in huge numbers and firstborns, not so many babies. Babies tend to be the salespeople. They're manipulative, social, outgoing. Name a comedian, and you're talking to the baby of the family. The question I've been asked is, what's birth order? Well, let's start with this. Everybody's got a birth order. In fact, when I go to New York and do one of those morning shows, the publisher always tells me, don't mention birth order. And the reason why is because everybody finds birth order so fascinating. You look at your family, and the first two children in the family are night and day difference. I remember when our little Chrissy was born, the first thought I had, I looked at her just as a baby. I mean, she was still little pink-faced, and I thought, she doesn't look like Holly. Well, why should she look like Holly? She's Chrissy. There's an expectancy there that these kids are going to follow suit. So birth order, to define it, is that fluid, dynamic relationship that exists between parent and child and children of one another. Firstborns are the ones that us parents practice on. If you're a firstborn, you're the lab rat of the family. Okay, your parents didn't know what they were doing. It was hit and miss, and they fussed about everything. So as different kids come in the birth order, we lighten up. So your typical firstborns are reliable, conscientious, rule makers, rule followers. There's a right way to do things. The astronauts in outer space, the first 23, 21 firstborns, 2 only children, not a middle or a baby in sight. If your youngest child is talking about being an astronaut, this might be a real good time to take him down to Starbucks and show him what the barrister does. Because chances are that kid is not going to be in space. They might act like they're in space. That's a whole other topic. So firstborn sort of set the mark. I mentioned earlier, the first 2 kids in a family are night and day different in almost all families. That second child is going to be the opposite. They're going to take that different tact. And of course, parents tend to parent kids the same, which doesn't work because you have to treat kids differently. So those middle children, they get squeezed. They got the crown prince or princess above them. They got little Schnooky, the baby of the family who got away with murder, beneath them. But they are negotiators, compromisers. They get along with people. They're great in middle management. They go with the flow. Interesting, in the business world, I speak to a lot of business groups. Your entrepreneurs are middle children in huge numbers and firstborns, not so many babies. Babies tend to be the salespeople. They're manipulative, social, outgoing. Name a comedian, and you're talking to the baby of the family. I mean, all the old ones, Billy Crystal and Eddie Murphy and Jim Carrey and Martin Short, Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, Whoopi, Ellen, they're all babies of the family. The father of comedy, Charlie Chaplin, baby of the family. Well, what is it about youngest children that they become such entertainers and such? Well, they look up. And in birth order, you're always looking up. So the firstborn's models are adults. The secondborn model, now he's got, or she has, not only the parents, but now the firstborn. As you go down through the birth order, there's more models. So once these roles get filled, by the time that number 3 child comes around, or 4, that baby of the family, they're going to find a way to demand attention. So birth order in many ways is like when we were kids, you played on a sand pile or a dirt pile. And depending upon your gender, you played queen of the hill or king of the hill. And the idea was to stay on top of the hill, which meant when the other kids came up, you pushed them down or whatever. It was just a rough and tumble game. So birth order is sort of like that. There's a striving for superiority. That's sort of a nutshell of what birth order is all about. Now, there's variables that affect that. Age, gap between the births of kids. So when you see a 5-year gap between the births of children, you sort of draw another family. So it's not just cut and dry. All firstborns are not the same. All middles are not the same. All babies are not. Only children are little adults by age 7 or 8. And they're walking around at 8 doing logarithms in their head. They're very successful people, by the way. Now, let me segue to birth order and marriage. Yes, I married the firstborn. My pet name for her is Mrs. Uppington. And let me tell you publicly, the woman needs me. She needs me because anything she does has to be done just so. If you were coming to our home for dinner on Saturday, Thursday, the dinner would start. And by the way, store-bought cookies and desserts are Satan's desserts. Everything has to be made from scratch. She's just too much. And I say to you, honestly, she needs me because I help lighten her up. But here's the beauty of it all. The firstborn, Mrs. Uppington, and the baby cub, that was my nickname as a kid. I was a little cub. That's a pretty good match because I need her to help straighten me up. You balance your things off in your birth orders. Marry a middle child, everybody. They go with everybody. They're like going to the universal blood bank and finding the universal donor. They roll with the punches. Well, they never had mom and dad to themselves. And so middles go with onlys and firstborns and babies, pretty good match. Their best matches are firstborn and baby and only and baby. Those are extremes. I've done therapy with people behind closed doors for over 40 years. And it here, well, he's so different than I am. She's so different. Well, I hope so. If you're both the same, quite frankly, there's no need for one of you in the marriage. So it's the differences that make us a couple. And I think that's where you help come around each other. I can speak too quickly where she'll really think about what she says before she engages her mouth. I don't always do that. But she's really been good about helping me, take it easy. It's okay. And like I say, I help her lighten up because she gets a little too uptight about ordinary things in life. You learn to get behind each other's eyes. And you have to think. I have to think like the firstborn. And so taking a look at where you came from, taking time to really understand what are the things I learned about life from my mom, from my dad, from my older sister, my other brother. That's really good time for you to sit and just talk about. It's great preparation for life. Birth order is not the answer all to anything, quite frankly, but it does give us a handle. My friend Gary Chapman wrote The 5 Love Languages, and I think the 5 love languages in the birth order book have a lot in common because it gives us a handle on how to get behind somebody else's eyes and see how they see life. And by the way, love languages, usually for a couple, are completely different. And the more different they are, the better they are. It's just like it is in birth order. If you talk to anybody who's married, they're going to tell you that something you got to figure out is communication. Now, again, if you're one of those couples that has a difficult time communicating, try this. Now, you both got to agree to this. You both have to say, honey, I don't know. I don't communicate very well with you. I don't think you communicate great with me. Just for the sake of our marriage and our kids, let's just try something. And just sit across from each other. But look in each other's eyes. And one person says something. It can be as long as a couple minutes long. From the heart. Something that's bothering you. You're getting something out, okay? You're not accusatory, you're just stating a problem. After that couple minutes, when you're done, you're quiet now. And now it's that person's, your mate's, opportunity to tell you what they think they heard you say. That's all. You're not defending yourself. You're not coming up with excuses. You're just sort of reiterating what you think I just heard. Then once that's done, then the person who originated the conversation says, yes, that's exactly right, or clarifies something. And now it's that other person's opportunity to share back. And you go back and forth. No one interrupts the other person. The rules are, you can't say never, you can't say always, you don't get mad, you don't leave. It gives you a chance to attack the problem. Communication is the key to success in life, in business, in marriage, in administration. The two shall become one. It's that oneness that gives you the satisfying joy, and I mean that, of being married. There's nothing better than being married. There isn't. She loves you no matter what, and vice versa. That makes us a couple. So keep in mind, it's the differences in us that make us a couple. Don't get angry about it. It's all about communication and getting things right. You can do this.